welcome back to my channel. So today we will be doing a Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette ranking video. I have a total of 16 palettes in all. I certainly increased the number of the palettes I buy from her for this year. So I hope that this ranking video will help you decide on which palette to get, because her sale is still ongoing on her website. So do stay tuned. So for palette number 16, I will be ranking from the lowest to the highest. So this is palette 16. We have this Rose Decadence. This is her 6-pan Mothership palette. So this is how it looks like. So this is ranked at number 16. That's because I feel that these shades are more rough. Actually, if you feel them, you try to swatch them, you will feel that the palettes are rougher in texture. And I feel that somehow, although the colors look different, but you have quite a lot of these similar shades. So when I put these colors on my eye, somehow I get quite a monochromatic look. The only exception is this yellow over here, which is also not a very bright color. So in general, I just get a very pinkish reddish look, which is not a look that is suitable for me as an Asian, because it will look like I have crying eyes. So this is why this is ranked at number 16. So for palette 15, we have this mini plasticky pan here. So this is one of the cheaper eyeshadow palettes that she has come out with. So this is the Eye Ecstasy in Subversive. So this is ranked at 15 because I don't really reach for this, although I can say this is very travel friendly, but these colors are a bit too vibrant for me. So I don't usually wear this. So that's why it's ranked at number 15. But I can say actually this palette together with the other partner of this, so this one is the more wearable version. These two palettes over here are my first two palettes that I get from Pat McGrath. And after getting these two palettes, I start to realize how good the formula is, and then I really start to expand my Pat McGrath collection. So these two palettes are really very good if you want to try her formula, because I think she didn't skim on the formula at all. And I would really bring these two palettes out if I were to travel, because they are less likely to break, and because they are plasticky pans, they are really very light. So these two are a great buy. So palette number 14 will be this palette over here that we just talked about. So this is the partner. This is the Eye Ecstasy in Sublime. So I actually really love this palette a lot. Just that recently I have not been using this as much, because I want to give my other bigger Mothership palettes more uses as they are more expensive. But this is really a very great palette for anyone who really want to try out Pat McGrath or use this as a travel palette. So this is a great palette. So for palette 13, this is the palette. This is her newer quad that she come out with for the holiday collection. So this quad is the Bronze Borealis. I have actually do a look with this palette. I will insert a link down in the description box below if you want to see a look using this palette and a more detailed review on this. So the reason this is ranked lower is because somehow the shimmer shades are not as bright and shimmery on the eye compared to her other quads. It looks more normal, I would say, like more comparable to other brands, and not her usual, very shiny Pat McGrath kind of style. So when you wear this, people can't really tell that you wear Pat McGrath eyeshadow. And these pans are also smaller than her usual quads. Let me do a comparison. So you can see the difference in the pen size. Well, the difference in the pen size doesn't actually bother me, because I know I won't finish using an eyeshadow palette. But if that really bothers you, because the pricing is around the same, maybe cheaper by a couple of dollars only for this palette, well, however, it's on sale now on the Pat McGrath website. So this palette, I feel it is not as worth it compared to other palettes, but you can still get a very nice look, a nice neutral look using this palette. And you can also bring it to travel. The pen size are relatively smaller, so I think I will use this more for a travel palette. So this is the reason why this is ranked at number 13. So palette 12 will be this quad in Risque Rose. So this Risque Rose actually has a beautiful color story, but this bright pink here somehow is a bit hard for me to use. So this is the reason I don't pick up this palette as much, because when I look at the palette, I see this bright pink and then I do not really know how to create a nice, easy look for everyday wear, especially for work. However, this glitter particle here, this is not her Astro Blitz shade, but you can see here, this is a very, very shiny, very, very nice. If you put this at the center part of your lid. So for this whole palette, I really like this color, as well as this matte dark brown to darken out the outer corner. So this is still a very nice palette to have. So palette 11, this is her Astro Blitz formula actually for this quad. So what's the name of this? This is called a Ritualistic Rose. So all the shades here are all Blitz Astro shades, so they are very shiny. I can't really create a look just by using this palette alone, but however, after I put on my eyeshadow, even for eyeshadow of other brands, I tend to come to this quad and just put some bling on top, and that really top ups the look a lot. So this is my favorite quad to go to for some added bling on the center of my eyelid. So this is really good. So the reason it's ranked at 11 is because I can't get a complete look using this. So this is more of a topper shade, but it's a very good formula and it's definitely very shimmery. So palette 10 is this Interstellar Icon. This is really very gorgeous. I especially love this blue shade here, which is why I bought this palette. So you can see it has a blue to purplish kind of shift. It's really very gorgeous on the eye, and it's very simple to create a very fast look using this palette, because all the colors has already been put out here, the 4 colors. You can just quickly add this at the center part of your lid, this one at the inner corner, this one as the crease shade actually, and then this one as the outer corner shade to darken out the whole look. So this is a very good palette to have. So palette 9, this is no longer in stock. So this one is her last year's holiday palette. This one is the Celestial Divinity Mothership Mega Palette. So these colors are really very gorgeous. Especially this color over here. This is a very nice dual chrome kind of shade. So I don't know if you can see it. So it looks green, but there's actually some purple. So it's greenish purple kind of shade. This is very stunning on the eye. But however, I don't touch this palette as often nowadays because I'm using more of her other Mothership palettes. So this is ranked at number 9, but it's really definitely a very good formula. Next up at number 8. So number 8 and number 7, I actually can't really decide which two to place this, but ultimately I gave this palette to be at number 8. So this is the Mothership Midnight Sun. I have recently do a look using this palette because this palette is now on very good discount on the Pat McGrath's website. I should say this is actually very nice. So the reason I place it at number 8 is because I'm someone who likes a more brighter look. So I want people to see that I really put on eyeshadow, especially because for me normally I wear spectacles. So when I wear spectacles, the look already toned down a lot. So I want something brighter so people can see that I'm wearing eyeshadow. So that's why this is not something I use that often, because it's more of a toned down look. But if that's the kind of look you're going for, this palette is really very great. Especially this purple here is very, very stunning. And you pair it with this on top, you get a very nice shimmery, really a midnight sun, very romantic and mysterious kind of look. So this palette is really very nice. So do check my link down below in the description box where I do a look using this palette and I give more detailed review on this palette. So palette number 7, this palette I have just gotten very recently this month, and look at the beautiful pink packaging. So that's right, this is the Mothership number 7. This is the Divine Rose. So this is the original Divine Rose. So I waited so long to get this palette because I really want this palette in this pink, baby pink packaging. Because I have a lot of a black lacquer packaging already, so I really want something that stands out, and I really into packaging. So I have been waiting so long for this palette to go in stock. I think now it's already out of stock already. They only left the black lacquer packaging, but it's still on a sale. So if you don't mind the packaging, you can still get this palette. So these are how the colors look like. I feel that the colors look really very gorgeous with this pink packaging. I think with the normal black lacquer packaging, I don't think it will look as stunning. So this palette is placed at number 7 because somehow I feel that I need to layer up quite a few times to get these Astro shades to really pop out. Somehow it's more muted compared to her other Mothership palettes. Even comparing to the Midnight Sun, I feel the Midnight Sun Astro shades are really more stunning. So the reason this is at number 7, partially I think it's because of the packaging. It makes me more inclined to reach out for this palette. But if I were to get this in the black packaging, I think I will be reaching for the Midnight Sun much more. So I have to really layer this Astro shades a lot on my eyelids to be able to tell that this is Pat McGrath's eyeshadow, because it's much lighter for my skin tone especially. So that's the reason this is at number 7, but it's still a very gorgeous palette. So palette 6. So this is the Mothership Subversive palette. So this palette is placed at number 6 because somehow I think because it's too colorful, it's a little bit hard for me to use. I always need to think whether I want to do a blue look, or I want to do a pink look, or I want to do a look consisting the two of them. And somehow, I don't know, maybe the shades here are darker. So when I put these shades at the outer part of my eye, normally towards the end of the day, I think my eye look, it will look a little bit muddy. Like I have some like streaks at the under part of my eye here, so I have to try to smudge off that eyeshadow. So I somehow end up with a dirtier, not as clean look using this palette because of all the darker shadows and because of the color story as well. So that's why I don't use this palette as much. But this palette somehow is very popular and it's often sold out on the Pat McGrath's website, and currently now it's still sold out. So you can quickly get your hands on this palette if you see that it's in stock and on a sale. I believe that will be the best deal, but somehow I don't use this as much. So palette number 5. Can you believe we're at the top 5? This is the Mothership Mega Celestial Odyssey. This is a holiday palette for this year and it's on a very good discount right now on her website. So quickly get it while you can. So just look at all these beautiful colors. I especially love the green and the blues, and this color over here. It is such a stunning violet kind of color. Let me just swatch it lightly. So you can see here, it is very, very pigmented, and you put this on the center of the eye, wow, it looks very great. So I believe all these are her matte and shimmer shadows. So because I have this palette and also the Mothership Mega from her previous collection last year, I do not need to get a Mothership 4, which doesn't have any of her brightest Astro shades. They are just shimmery formula. So if you have this, you do not need to get that palette, which is why I didn't get that. So this is really an amazing deal right now on her website, so quickly get it. So palette number 4. So this palette over here is the Divine Rose number 2, Mothership number 8. Yeah, Mothership number 8 palette. So I've gotten quite a number of use out of this palette. I actually wanted to try to pan this palette, but I think it's quite hard to. And also I bought another one because of the beautiful lacquered pink lacquered packaging, which this version is not available on her website already, but the black one still is available on the discount. So I really love this duochrome shade here. So you see it's a pink. When you shift it slightly, it's a green. So you can see it over here. So this is very amazing on the eyes. And all these other Astro shades are very amazing too. I don't really use this dark pink though, but it's actually not as bright as you imagine it to be on the pan. So let me just quickly swatch it. It's still okay, it's not as bright. You can just darken it out with this dark matte shade to get a very nice cohesive blend. So this is a more colorful palette and I love more colorful looks. So that's why this is at number 4. So now we are at the top 3. So this is my palette for the 3rd ranking, and this is the Mothership 1 Subliminal palette. So this is the palette I'm actually wearing on my eyes right now. So you can see this soft gleam over here. So I have a mixture of these two Astro shades. So I have this pinkish one at the center part of my lid, and I place this one that actually looks seemingly white, but you see this shift over here is actually a little bit blue. So I place this at near the inner corner of my eye. I also went in ahead and placed a little bit of this and this at the outer corner. So you get this very nice look. Somehow it looks glamorous and understated, and it's shimmery at the same time. So I don't know, it's just a very special look that I can't get with any other shadows. So let me just quickly swatch these two Astro shade. So this one, the pink one, and this, the whiter one. So this is how the pink one look, and this one is the whiter one. You can see it's not just white, it has actually this pretty blue sparkles. So it actually adds some light and somehow it glamifies the whole eye. It's really very pretty. So this one is my top 3 palette. So my top 2, this one is the newest palette, newest Mothership palette that Pat McGrath has come out with for this year. So this one is the Utopian Dream Mothership 9. So this palette, a lot of people say that this palette looks very similar to the Divine Rose and the Divine Rose 2 palette. Well, they have some similarities for these kind of pinky shade, but this is actually a softer, more romantic kind of shade. So I would say the Divine Rose is much more toned down. It's almost like it's very neutral, and Divine Rose 2 is much more pigmented, and this one is a nice blend of the two of them. And somehow the Astro shades here are to die for. It is so shimmery. So let me just quickly swatch these two shades. So especially this purple over here. So this palette is a party palette. So when you put these Astro shades on the corner or at the center part of the lid, your whole eye look really pops out and really looks like you want to go for party because it's so shimmery and glimmery. So this is a very nice palette to have when you really want to shine. If you don't want so much of a shine, I guess you can go for all these colors which are more muted. And because of the texture of these Astro shades, how shiny it is, that's why I placed it at number 2. So you can see a comparison video I have earlier on. I will link down in the description box, where I compared the Astro shades over here of this palette and the Mothership 5 Bronze Seduction together with her other palette, the Mothership Midnight Sun palette, which is on a very great discount. So you can see the difference for all the different kind of Astro shades, and you know, you can see a difference that this one is really much more shimmery, the most shimmery out of them all. So this is ranked at number 2, which I think this is currently, it currently says it's coming soon on her website because it's out of stock. So I guess we can try and wait for the stock to come in. And lastly, number one goes to this Bronze Seduction. So when I'm seeing pictures online, I didn't thought that I would love the Bronze Seduction so much, because I don't usually like red, which is actually the color that I didn't touch at all in this palette. But the Astro shades here, they are so stunning. So the eye look normally I go for when I use this palette, I just use this as a crease shade, and then I go on to put this shade at the center part of my lid, this one at the inner corner, and I darken out the outer corner with either this or this, and I get such an amazing look. And somehow the blend is very nice, and I get a very wonderful eyeshadow look from the start of the day till the end of the day. So this really gives me a very nice, gorgeous look, and it looks very clean and very sophisticated on the eyes. And this is my favorite palette to wear whenever I have those grand occasions like weddings or concerts. So this is my top favorite number 1 palette. So let me do a quick swatch of the Astro shades over here. So just see how shiny the Astro shades are. I usually do a very light swatch for my palettes, so these swatches are really very light, just one touch kind of swatch, and look how shimmery it is. And this is how it will remain until the end of the day if you put these Astro shades on your lids. So we have come to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I do, and I hope that this video will help you in making your purchase on the Pat McGrath's website. Do have a fun time shopping her sale, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye guys! Remember to like and subscribe. See you!